Music has the power to speak to our hearts and activate our minds around the issues of our time. Music is a vital tool for building an equitable and resilient future. Music can change the world. Hi, I'm Liz Stuckey-Sundy, Executive Director and co-founder of Music to Life. Thank you so much for tuning in to learn more about our mission to activate social change through music. Music and social change have always gone hand in hand, and for 20 years, Music to Life has been exploring and supporting music's ability to transform our communities. We produce music programs that foster connection and creativity. We partner with organizations to present educational panels and workshops. And today, we're committed to raising up our amazing network of social change musicians. The artists we work with are change makers who empower and transform their communities through music. Our mission is to amplify their voices and support their work through funding, performance opportunities, mentorships, and other vital resources. Now you'll see Music to Life's mission in action. Get to know these artists. Let them into your hearts and let them inspire you, because this is Music to Life. Thanks again for joining us. Hey everybody, it's me again with the COVID non-haircut, welcoming you in person to Accelerating Change. I am going to be your host and MC today. A big thank you to our presenting partner, the Kennedy Center, and to all of you for joining us. You're in for a great show. So some of you might know my dad as Noel Paul Stuckey of the folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary. He and I started Music to Life to build activism through music. And today, our activist musician Accelerator is the first incubator of its kind for social change musicians. The Accelerator helps musicians step off the stage and into activism by connecting them with the resources, mentors, and skills they need to put their music to work in our communities. And I just want to take a minute because, oh my gosh, do we need their work right now. I think it's really important to acknowledge what an incredibly challenging time this is for us as a country. And we and our communities are hurting economically, socially, spiritually, and of course now physically as these wildfires rage on in the West. So the work of Music to Life and our Accelerator is more important than ever because it taps talented artists as change agents who can play an active role in getting us and the communities we care about back on our feet. So as part of our gathering here, you're going to get to know two of them, KamicaKing and Amanda Pascali, each of whom is using their music as a strategic tool to address head-on some of the challenges that we're facing right now. We're going to start by welcoming social change musician Amanda Pascali. She is from Houston, Texas. She is a 22-year-old first-generation American who serves as a voice for the millennial generation. As the daughter of a political refugee, she has grown up to become an explorer, a geoscientist, and a touring bilingual singer-songwriter. She's also an activist who is committed to providing basic resources to new immigrants and refugees while encouraging them to build their own definition of what it means to be American in the year 2020. Earlier this year, she created an asynchronous virtual ESL program for immigrant students whose classes had to shift online in the midst of the pandemic. And her work has most recently been funded and endorsed by the City of Houston and Mayor Sylvester Turner. So as she offers her music, she's got a nice long set for you. We've also asked her to share some stories behind her music, her activism, and her work with Music to Life's Accelerator. So take it away, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Liz, and thank you to the Kennedy Center and their incredible production team for having me. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to perform at the Kennedy Center, so I'm really excited to be here with all of you watching at home. I am Amanda Pascali, and my music has been coined immigrant American folk. Music that's not really authentically from any one country, but a mix. It's brought to America from very many places to create a space and a name for itself. I'm going to start off with a song I wrote called Uccellino, and it means little bird in Italian. I wrote it about being too foreign for here, too foreign for home, and never enough for both. I was born along a dashed yellow line that runs straight through the highway in a land that isn't mine. And my mama told me, figlia mia, this is where you ought to stay. Queste strade, con loro lastrica. Said hi da di da di da di da, hi da di da di da di da. I grew up along the lines that separated the seas, and I waved to children on the street as they called out to me, and they spoke of the ancient maps of old Lady Lindy's paths. They led to somewhere she traversed alone. She was searching to never find a home. Hi da di da di da di da, hi da di da di da di da. Uccellino, they call me Uccellino, 'cause it means forever till the day I fly away. Uccellino, vola col destino, e volley d'amore fino al giorno che morirà. I was grown when Sorellina came to search for me. Well, she wrote a letter to me and she said she'd set me free. She said chi si volta, chi si gira sempre a casa va a finire. Oh ziganka, take your heart and leave. Quelle strade duro, how they deceive. Hi da di da di da di da, hi da di da di da di da. Oh, Uccellino, they call me Uccellino, 'cause it means per sempre till the day I fly away. Uccellino, vola con destino, eppure folle d'amore fino al giorno che morirà. I said, hi da di da di da di da, oh hi da di da di da di da, oh hi da di da di da di da, hi da di da di da di da. Tra le nuvole, tra le stelle, io sono nata. Tra i pianeti, somewhere nell'universo, io sono nata. Quella americana, quella che è gitana, quella che è partigiana. Sera There call me Uccellino. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thanks to Music to Life. I joined the Music to Life organization about a year ago with an idea to create the Immigrant American Folk Music Project, bringing to light the stories of immigrants in America through music, the world's universal language. Now, I'm a first-generation American. I'm the daughter of a refugee, and many people often ask me why my music is so political or why I decided to be an activist alongside being a singer-songwriter. And to that, I respond, if my father would have never spoken out against the government in his home country and fled to the United States as a refugee, where he met my mother, also an immigrant in New York, I would have never been born. My entire existence was built on resistance. I was born to be a messenger of this story and a million others that seem extraordinary on the surface, but actually represent the many builders of this country. So, with that, here is a story about those builders. It's a song that I wrote about setting off on a journey, not knowing whether you're actually going to make it to your destination or not. It's a song about being so desperate and knowing that wherever you're going is better than where you're coming from, and the journey is worth it, even if it involves a lot of sacrifices. It's a song about risking your life for freedom, and it's called Over the Sea. If I were the moon, I'd tug at the sea to draw the land piece by piece closer to me, closer to me, closer to me. The land of the free lies just over the sea, closer to me. All I could be if I could survive in the land of the free. If I were a painter, I'd paint me a sidewalk, paint me a skywalk, paint me a path of bright yellow white, bright burning light to lead us the way out of aching at last. Dee 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 dee, over the sea, the land of the free lies just over the sea, over the sea, over the sea, the land of a blissful liberty. Dear sister of mine, it feels like 1,000,000 years of time, just until we reach the island's teeming shores, where the ever-sparkling seas begin to shine. Dear brother of mine, I know that land someday we'll finally find. And the sun is a radiant green, white and red, like the blood that through water of kyanite shed, and the salt-covered dreams now buried before the land and the moment that I'd waited for. Lie, 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 over the sky, the land of the free lies just over the sky, over the sky, over the sky. We do what we must do so we can survive. Over the sky, over the sky, the land of the free lies just over the sky, over the sky, over the sky. I loved you long after I left you behind. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and endless thank you to the Kennedy Center and their production team for having me here. I still can't believe that I'm actually performing for the Kennedy Center right now. I'm feeling very, very grateful. If you like these songs, they are on every online streaming platform that there is out there. So go check them out if you like them. And before I leave you with one last song, I'm going to give a little bit more background on my story. So my story begins in 1984. In 1984, my father spoke out against the communist dictatorship in Romania and was thrown into a forced labor camp for 2 years with other so-called undesirables. After that, he sought asylum in the United States, where he fled as a political refugee after his citizenship was confiscated. Without a name, a passport, or an identity, he was forced to rebuild his entire existence. Now, before he was in New York and met my mother and fell in love with her, he came here and he was all alone and had no money and no connections. And he made a promise to himself that America would only be his temporary home. So after the revolution was over in Romania, he would go back there and he would be known as the guy who made it in America. He wasn't planning on staying here. And the reason for that was because life as an immigrant in America, for him, was, as he described it, a living hell. I mean, complete loneliness, no connections, and no money, oftentimes no food to eat. It was super hard for him. And I think oftentimes when we talk about the stories of immigrants in America, we love to talk about the success stories. We talk about the self-made man, but very seldom do we talk about that initial chapter of those stories, the chapter that deals with loneliness and hunger and being all by yourself in a country where maybe you don't speak the language that everybody else does. And so I wrote this song to tell the story of that initial chapter. And I wrote it comparing 1980s Brooklyn to Dante's description of Inferno, or hell. And if you're familiar with Dante and the Inferno, you know that at the gates of hell, there is an inscription that reads, "Abandon every hope, ye who enters here." So with that, here is Temporary Home. I met him in the land where everybody says that anything can happen. He said, I haven't seen the sun, and just as soon as I have made it, I swear I'm going home. I swear I'm going home. Every morning since he donned a uniform and boots, just like he did at home, and the factory in shades of muted black and white and blue, no color TV at home. no color TV or home. Temporary empty room, a temporary telephone, temporary concrete ceiling, temporary home. Ooh, ooh, He spoke about a man who worked the sickle with his hand, and a voice that roared like thunder. He said the journey to the golden ground is just along the path down 7 levels under. Oh, temporary empty room, temporary sleep alone, temporary wings to fly to a temporary home. Ooh, ooh, no name and no passport, no identity to transport, no nation, no conversation. Where do you belong? No name, no passport, no, nobody waits for you no more. Nobody waits in this underground airport. Where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, turn you around, no, turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, where do you belong? I said ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, turn you around, no, turn you around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn you around, no, where do you belong? Oh, where do you belong? Oh, where do you belong? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to the Kennedy Center. We're going to go to a quick video about the Accelerator for the Music to Life organization that I'm part of. Then we're going to hear a few words from my mentor for the past year, Liz Stuckey Sunday. And then we're going to hear some music from fellow artist and singer-songwriter KamicaKing.
Can one musician really change the world? Actually, they can, but not how you might think. One model for using music to create social change is to gather celebrities together, put on a big concert, inspire millions, and encourage activism to trickle down to our neighborhoods. Think We Are the World, Live Aid, and other amazing historic music events. Global becomes local. But today's world is different. We all have the power of the media in our hands. One recording from a cell phone can coalesce a global movement. We are now local to global, and Music to Life understands this. We support movements that start small and grow, and grow, and grow. Solving a problem locally gives it the strength to scale and succeed beyond our wildest dreams. And that's exactly why we launched our Activist Musician Accelerator program. We activate today's change makers to become self-sustaining forces of good in their own neighborhoods. We offer them the support, resources, and training they need to do their vital work. We give them a toolkit of entrepreneurial skills to become a musical crisis response team, working to revitalize and empower their communities. Just a few of these enterprising artists can have a profound effect. Imagine if we had people like them deployed in every community across the nation. Imagine how that might scale, and you can understand how their influence could be positively revolutionary. Become part of our movement to activate these pioneering musician changemakers. Because musicians can change the world when you help amplify them.
Hey, back again. Thanks again, Amanda, too. Wow, that was super powerful. So as co-founder of Music to Life, I have seen the Accelerator evolve, even just over the past year, working with these artists into an incredibly innovative and powerful tool for tapping talented local musicians like the ones you're hearing from today and revitalizing our communities. So just a bit of, just to update you a little bit, we've now worked with Accelerator artists in Northern New England, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, and also Texas. You're hearing from Kamica and Amanda, but also in Austin, as well as Dallas and Houston. And here are just some of the, preliminary results. I mean, these Accelerator artists have all developed fundable projects in collaboration with their nonprofit partners in need. And so these are nonprofits, these are opioid clinics, these are prisons, these are immigration advocacy centers, these are racial and environmental justice organizations and youth empowerment groups. So these artists have all written grants. Several of them are now fiscally sponsored. And in this time of COVID, each Accelerator artist has actually pivoted to deliver their programs online. And actually the entire Accelerator is an online program. So as they graduate, the artists we've worked with bring their enhanced economic and musical value to their communities so they can be part of the solution as we rebuild the fabric of our country. So now more than ever, we're really, Music to Life as an organization is committed to growing this ingenious program around the country because these artists, again, you're hearing a couple of them today, but they are everywhere. They are in every community with incredible ideas for sparking change through music, and they need our help. So Music to Life is finding them, supporting them, and helping them engage in the work of healing that we and our communities, and particularly those less fortunate, need so badly. So if you'd like to bring or help us bring an Accelerator to your state, your city, your community, if you'd like to volunteer, donate, or just learn more, please get in touch with us at musictolife.org. Thanks again for being with us. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next Accelerator artist from Dallas, KamicaKing. Kamica is the founder and CEO of the music-based socio-emotional wellness company, King Creative Arts Expressions. She's also a motivational speaker, a board-certified music therapist, and a soul singer-songwriter and activist. And as a mutual friend has told us, she still somehow has the same 24 hours in a day that we all have. Kamica is dedicated to fostering, in particular, the social emotional learning, creative expression, resilience, and community among young women of color. So similar to what we did with Amanda, we're going to give Kamica a nice long set here and have her share some stories behind her music and her activism and her work with the Accelerator program. Take it away, Kamica.
Thank you so much, Liz, and thank you to the Kennedy Center. It's wonderful to be before you all today, and what an awesome intro. It's interesting to hear back the variety of things that I do, because for me, it's all about the heart of serving, the heart of giving, and the heart of loving. So I don't know what kind of day everybody has had, but let's take a moment together to pause, to breathe deeply, and to really soak in this moment. This is a song of mine called Live, Love, Dream. So whatever you may have come here with today, leave it for a moment as you enjoy all of our tunes. The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, and I dream. Never give up or you've got a chance to win. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. Even when times get rough, you can still overcome. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, and I dream. Never give up or in, you've got a chance to win. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. Even when times get rough, you can still overcome. Never give in, you can win. Just hold on. The stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. The future is bright as I look towards the sky. I live, I love, I dream. I live, I love, I dream. I live, I love, I live, I love, I live, I love, I dream. Live, love, dream. I encourage you to think about, for me, I say the stars in the sky remind me of why I live, I love, and I dream. But what keeps you remembering why you live? What keeps you remembering why you love, why you dream? Take a moment to think about that there. So yes, I'm a part of the Music to Life Activist Accelerator. And, it was so interesting to get connected to them. And I'm a board certified music therapist, as was mentioned before, and also run King Creative Arts Expression. So much of the work had been steeped in the arts and also around wellness, providing services and engaging the community, whether work being done at a homeless recovery center, in school-based settings, a variety of places. And I remember when I was in grad school, I needed to figure out, well, what is my graduate thesis going to look like? What is my work going to look like? And what had happened at that time was my grandmother passed away. Then within 2 months, both of her siblings passed away. So all right then and there, we had lost them, and we had also lost whatever information we knew about the family history. What we knew, and what we didn't, there would not be a way to expand upon that. And in the midst of grieving, there was something about that that really stuck with me. This idea of how can one's history be preserved? And there wasn't an opportunity to go back. But as I was figuring out, okay, I'm in grad school for music therapy. What is my work going to look like? I said, there's an opportunity actually to go forward. And I wound up doing a documentary. Music therapy is not as widely a known field as some of the other therapy modalities. But I said, let me go back and dig into the history and the contributions of Black people within the field of music therapy, and Black women in particular. So I wound up filming a little documentary and interviewing 4 Black women in music therapy, from pioneers, not only because they are women of color, but for the contributions that they made to the field in and of itself. And one woman in particular, Frances Goldberg, had said in that interview that we have this opportunity as the younger generation of Black music therapists to be able to take our skill set and the work that we do and bring it back to the community. So when I got connected to Music to Life, that light bulb went off that said, I think this is the time. I'm an artist. Music is so near and dear to me. I have this skill set in music therapy. How do I create something that can blend those two worlds and be something new? And because of the times that we're in right now, because of the challenges, because of all the different things going on, particularly around racism and anti-Blackness, I said, how can I go reach back and work with young women of color? So we started a pilot. My program is Musically You, around empowerment and resilience and support and building community through the ways that we engage together in the arts and through the ways that it is a safe space and a haven for the girls to come on a weekly basis. So shout outs to, they're probably in school right now, but the girls of Raise Hope and Miss Fields in the midst of our project in these times. So I have a song that I wrote right before starting the pilot called Black Excellence. And instead of really detailing a lot of information, I'd like to present a poem that I put together as an introduction to this song. I am a Black woman. I am a healer. I am powerful in a world that regularly seeks to tell me otherwise. I am persistent, but also in need of rest. As a people, at times traumatized into submission and to conform, conditioned by the conditions. Black excellence is resistance to racism, to sexism, to anti-Blackness. Black excellence includes self-care. Black excellence is my truth, and your truth if it applies to you too, whether in present or in affirmation for the future. Here we go. I love the skin I'm in. No matter what you say, it's beautiful black skin. It wasn't always easy for me to feel this way. I have to make a choice every day that no matter what you say, no matter what you try, I will not disguise, I will not compromise. Black brilliance, heaven sent, black excellence, black excellence. This is the journey of my life. Through all the heartache and the trauma of these times, I had to look above. I had to heal myself. I had to learn self-love. I love the way I am, and that I exude black excellence. Black excellence. Listen now, you can't tear me down. No, no, because I'm on my way unto higher heights, unto a brighter day. And I lift as I rise with Sankofa waves, black excellence, black excellence. Ooh. Thank y'all so much. I'm seeing the comments stream in. And I got emotional for a moment, just thinking about how much of an opportunity this is to share, and to, I hope in the listening, that you all feel empowered, that you all feel strong, that no matter what's going on, and no matter what you do or don't know how to do, you are enough. Black excellence is you as you are enough. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're made in such a lovely light and way and capacity. And yes, my music is about the people and for all the people. But when the world is on fire in so many ways, I have to pause and be honest and think about myself as an activist artist in terms of how can I be helpful? What are the messages that I can bring forth? So I've got another tune for you all. And it's called Beautiful Life. It's a song that says, don't take for granted all the colors of your life. The ups and downs, the highs and the lows, and everything in between is all a part of our journey. So how can we take some time to celebrate that together? Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, hey, hey, hey. Don't take it for granted, all the colors of your beautiful life. Don't take it for granted when you go through hard times. It's life, it's love, and it's the blessings that come from above. In time, you will reach that place where all of your stresses no longer take shape. Through the highs and through the lows, getting what you need to grow, it's all a part of the plan. Stepping into your season, everything is a reason. It will work out on time. So don't take it for granted, all the colors of your beautiful life. Don't take it for granted when you go through hard times. Unite, said love. Know that your blessings come from above. Now is the time in this place to make a difference, to make that change. Knowing life is calling you, will you stand up and start anew? Follow the beat of your heart, charting new territory. God's ordained your destiny, so step into your light, let it shine, let it shine. Beautiful life, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And don't take it for granted, all the colors of your beautiful life. Don't take it for granted when you go through hard times. Don't take it for granted. You're beautiful, 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 beautiful life. Your life. Again, thank you so much to Music to Life, the Kennedy Center. It's an honor and a privilege and just to be in front of you all today. So I invite everybody to check out more information about me and the work that I'm doing, and to support it if you feel so led. And for more right now on Music to Life, I'm going to kick it to the co-founder, Noel Paul Stuckey of Music to Life. And you likely know him from the folk trio, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Thank y'all so much.
You know, the 60s, in terms of its potential to galvanize people, seemed so much easier because the issues were so clear, not so diffracted. Nowadays, the issues are so diverse and so competitive almost for your attention that, thank goodness, we have a raft of young singers and songwriters who are addressing each one of these, sometimes in their own communities, you know, whether it's teenage suicide, whether it's homelessness, whether it's whether it's the environmental issue. There's something that happens to an audience, even if it's only 6, 10, 12 people, who, because of music, understand the situation in their hearts and emotionally as a group of people who laugh together or sing together, share a deeper opportunity to be concerned. It's often been said, and I believe, that music unlocks the heart so that the mind can learn. I have a great deal of hope for the future of activist music, as long as those activists are not operating out of a platform of despair. And that's what the exciting aspect, I think, of Music to Life is. Most of these artists see a problem, but they're most hopeful because inherently in seeing the problem is the desire to offer a solution or steps towards a solution. I'm gonna start a revolution. I'm gonna take it to the street. I'm gonna smile at every solitary person that I meet. I'm gonna wave to total strangers, no matter where they're from. I'm gonna start a revolution. Yeah, I'm gonna win it one by one.
Thanks, Dad. Hi, everybody again. And oh my gosh, Kamica and Amanda, we're going to bring them back out in a minute. We're going to have a little chat. What an inspiring couple of sets we've just seen. So just want to reflect that, as Dad's saying, on the one hand, our work on the Accelerator certainly builds upon and carries forward the activism torch from Dad's generation, but this is really social change music 2.0, because we're now supporting these next gen artists of all genres and styles in this new and tactical way. Their activism isn't just happening on the stage or at rallies anymore. It's happening through the music-driven programs they're delivering to communities in need. So let's go back to the Accelerator artists. Let's get them on the screen with us. Hi, you guys. Oh, gosh. I am, Kamica, you talked about getting a little emotional. I can't help myself either. I just, you guys bring it out. You bring it out. And that's what this is all about. But, so here you've been, building programs of hope and inspiration in collaboration with these community partners. And so I guess I want to offer you an opportunity to reflect. And it's funny, as we were rehearsing, Kamica was like, Liz, you're asking us way too many questions in one sentence. But I couldn't help myself, because these are really, these are tough times for all of us. And they are, but as an artist, I feel like you have this unique perspective. And so I'm really curious for each of you to share, on the one hand, what's going on in your minds. You mentioned this a little bit, Kamica, as both a creative and a social change artist, kind of how those two things come together, and how you're maintaining kind of hope and positivity, and how the Accelerator has been helping you do that. But we can treat those as three separate questions. You can answer them whatever when you want, but a lot going on. So Kamica, if you want to step into whatever part of that you'd like.
Sure. What comes to mind first and foremost when you say how am I maintaining prayer, honestly, and then putting focus on self-care. And it's a work in progress. I'll keep it real, but I really strive to practice what I preach. And, over the last, of course, we have the several months, but maybe even year, life can just come at you so fast that self-care has really, being intentional about that, things like rest, things like staying hydrated, and taking the time that I need, as well as processing the things as well. Like, earlier I mentioned, grief with the death of my grandmother, but I can remember feeling just a few months ago really collective grief around the time that George Floyd was murdered. And it was an accumulation. It was like a snowball avalanche, that it was just thing after thing after thing after thing, plus what I have going on in my own life, as everybody does, plus COVID, plus all these things that really slammed. And I had to take time, and I didn't even recognize it as grief at first. But I remember there was one day where pretty much I had work to do, but the way that I needed to be there for myself, and the way that I'm willing to be there when I show up in the community, I cried most of that day watching the service. But that helped flip a switch to just release and let it go. And then to get to the point, I tried to pen something so many times to just express myself, but there was more emotion than there was words. And then as things went down the line, and with Music to Life, to kind of tie that back in, relentlessly, you all kept us up with our meetings, you all kept us up with our engagements, and said, keep moving forward. Okay, you can't go in person, pivot virtually. So it also gave me this, we've been planning this since way before, some of these more recent things occurred, but it gave me an extra impetus. And then in that meantime, between that collective grief and taking time around that and really nurturing myself, words started to come about. How do I express all the things I'm feeling? But then Black excellence was birthed out of that, to say, it wasn't always easy, and it isn't always easy for me to feel this way, but let me recognize still, just as I am in this moment, that I am enough, I am worthy, and all those things that I want to share with young women of color and share with so many other people in general.
Yeah. So honored to be part of this journey with you, Kamica, really. So Amanda, I want to give you a chance too to share any thoughts about any of these circles we're in right now.
Well, it's kind of been a crazy journey for me. In May, I graduated university, and for a while, I was planning and booking an entire European tour and U.S. tour with my band. So we had dates booked from Paris to Berlin, to Austin, just everywhere in between. And unfortunately, that whole thing was canceled, and it took me a while to finally come to terms with the fact that it wasn't just going to be postponed for a few months. It was actually going to be pretty much canceled until we find anything out, further about how to keep people safe at concerts. But while I was doing a lot of soul searching and having an identity crisis because I'm in this new chapter of my life, but at the same time it's a global pandemic, I applied for some grant money from the city of Houston to start my online ESL asynchronous program to help people discover what it means to them to be American while learning English. And so I was awarded some funds to do that. And I think that for me, because I couldn't do touring and traveling and all the things that remind me who I am, doing those things for others as an activist, to help people realize their own identity, I think has made all the difference for me during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that so much of that echoes with me as well, Amanda. I was blessed to get onto the Texas State touring roster at a time where everything is shut down and then renewed as a city artist here in Dallas as well. So it's been so interesting to have to come to terms with that and or figuring out, okay, well, how do we pivot in these times? And then to go online for me with Musically You, to go online. And it's weird because the way that you imagine the program being hands-on and folks engaging in instruments with you, you have to reimagine all those different things. So a quick shout out to the city of Dallas as well for being a part of helping to sponsor and present that pilot program. I'd be remiss if I didn't remember to share that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering if what you all have also learned about connecting through online. This has been true with all of our accelerator artists. It was almost like everybody sort of took a collective breath and went, oh my gosh, wait, okay, wait, we have to do this connecting in this way that is inherently disconnected. Oh my gosh. And so I just wonder if you've picked up along the way some, I don't know, because maybe what you're going to share with us is helpful for us as we try to connect through this very impersonal media. Just curious what you found along the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is tricky. It really is. It doesn't replace the in person, but it is great that there is still this. It's really curated as a safe space. So there's still this safe space for everybody to come together, and all the teens, they're at their own home, and the program, we're all in our respective homes. So the beautiful thing about it is that we are still able to connect. The challenging part is that it's another virtual meeting. So school is virtual, meetings are virtual, everything is virtual. So it has been really this work in progress that I'm very transparent with them to say, give me feedback on this. Do you like this way or that way? Or do you want to go on and do a Google Doc? Or do we do some of these things in real time? And I've learned a lot in terms of the technology on the computer and learning how to use different software, again, to still have some musical connectivity. It's a little trickier to be creating in real time, but those have been some of the ways. So it's a pilot and it's a work in progress, but it's beautiful to connect, and then you figure the rest out as you go along.
Yeah. Interesting. Amanda, I didn't know if you had some thoughts on that too.
Yeah. I think it's difficult to put projects like the ones that we're doing with the accelerator online. I think it's difficult to transition any project online that was meant to be face to face. But I think, especially with my project, it didn't start out as being an online ESL program. It started out as being an in-person learning English through music. And I think, especially when you have people from marginalized communities, being able to have that face-to-face connection is it's really important, especially when somebody's being vulnerable and speaking a language that is not their mother tongue. So to be able to have to go and transition that online is just it's even more difficult to make that connection. Not to mention more expensive for both parties, for me, but then also for the students. And then at the same time, there are so many things that arise that let you know that there is economic disparity between people. I mean, not everybody has a computer and can get online. And so the communities that I was intending to work with are the type of people who maybe they don't have a computer with very fast internet connection. They may have a phone, but you may find them like at a coffee shop or something, trying to connect to the internet there to try and learn English. And it really shows how big of a gap there is. I feel like the gap has become wider now that we have this online world that sometimes we don't realize not everybody has the same access to.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I know that some of the things we're doing now with our Accelerator artists is basically building in technology to the grants that we're writing together. So as they partner with these, with their nonprofit organizations, ensuring that there is loanable, rentable, borrowable, technology that can enhance the program. So, and it's interesting because in some of our rural communities in, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, what's happening is they're actually feeling like if you can find the internet, we're now going to be able to talk to somebody in northern New Hampshire and pull them into a program that otherwise, transportation, social isolation, whatever, geographic restrictions never would have brought them into that program. So there is that flip side too, right? That I think you might have been talking about this a little bit, Kamica, that it does bring people together who wouldn't otherwise have a chance, allowing for and, being, cognizant of these other issues you're bringing up, Amanda, about, connectivity, but there is this opportunity in there too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Great. Well, we could just keep chatting. And actually, we've been told by the Kennedy Center that we could keep chatting if we want. But I also want to be mindful of anybody who's listening in, of their time too. And if you slotted an hour for us and you've gone over by a couple minutes, we really appreciate it. So it's really, I guess it's just our time now to say thank you, to encourage you to keep in touch with both of us. I know they've been running your socials along the bottom, and I know you can find Music to Life online as well, and just let's keep the music and the impact growing. And any final kind of parting words from each of you to sort of send our audience off?
I'm grateful for everyone who has tuned in. Thank you, of course, to the Kennedy Center. Thank you, Liz, and Music to Life as well. And thank you to the community as well. Y'all are the ones who help champion us in what we do. So thank you all for being who you are and for allowing us to come in and share our work, our music, our lives with you all. So wishing everybody well.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you like Kamica's music or my music, I know you can find all of that online. So support independent artists, even locally in your community or across the country, that are being featured on platforms like this. I know personally, I'm trying to record a new album during a global pandemic, which is why I had my little Patreon thing down there while I was playing. So there's a lot of, artists are still creating things, but we need a little help at times. So just if you like independent artists, go support them, go support Kamica. And thank you guys for watching today. Thank you to the Kennedy Center and their incredible production team, and Liz, and all of Music to Life. And I'm just really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well
all
said,
right.
Amanda.
Take care out there. Be well. Stand strong. Goodbye, everybody.